This is a typical picture of cruise parking garage, or it can be outside in a lot. I've done enough cruise parking to speak with authority about this subject. Cruise parking is when you drive to the port, but you don't want to pay to park at the port. It's like $22 a day right now. So you don't want to pay that kind of money. You want to save money, which is almost half you can save by parking away from the port. So they have these companies called cruise parking. And I tell you what's wrong with cruise parking. I think I'm finished with it. You see these long lines here? I've waited up to an hour for one of their little jitneys to pull up and board. No, a jitney will pull up, but that's at the front of the line. Then you got to move up and wait for another jitney, and that fills up. Then you move up closer and you wait for another jitney. I waited up to an hour to board the transportation to the ship. And what's worse than this, at least you're inside. There's lots that have no cover. Just a little postage stamp tent, which not everybody can fit into. So you're out there in the baking sun or in the pouring rain waiting for transportation. They say it's every 15 minutes. Yeah, sometimes it is. But more than likely it's a half hour to an hour wait. And then at the port of Miami, you're supposed to stand in a particular place to catch your ride back to the garage. Well, most of the time it's hot in Miami. You're standing out there in the boiling sun, or occasionally if it's raining, you got to stand out there in the rain or the bus will not know you're there to be picked up. And you can wait up to a half hour to an hour for one of their jitneys to come by. I mean, they say every 15 minutes. I've had it where they did come 15 minutes. But more than likely, it'll be a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe even up to an hour before you can get your ride back to the garage. Then you leave the garage, and it's super difficult to get on like you want to get on I-95. It's not that easy downtown maneuvering in traffic and figuring out, even the GPS sometimes doesn't even know how to get on I-95 from the parking garage. And if you're in the wrong lane, you're going to miss your turn. And it's easy to get in the wrong lane because it's so jam-packed. Once you realize you need to be in the next lane over, nobody will let you in. So that's another problem with cruise parking. From now on, I'm going to the port and pay the $22 a day. And the thing is, if you don't think you can afford $22 a day for cruise parking, then maybe you shouldn't be cruising. Or delay your cruise so that you can make up the difference. Or take a lesser cabin. Because a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times with this cruise parking, you are going to start your cruise with a bad attitude, or you're going to end your cruise with a bad attitude.